Advocate Sonak wants to say something.
Good morning. At the outset, on behalf of India Against Corruption Goa Unit, I would like to congratulate the Dynamic Director of International Center Nandini and her Commander-in-Chief Arjun for making this program possible and for consistently making such thought-provoking and action-oriented programs. Though I congratulate, I do it with a slight reservation. I am little dissatisfied with the introduction she made of Justice Hegde. Nandini ought to have placed on record that in the citizens' heart, in the citizens of Goa's heart, there is a citizens' charter. And it is largely written thereon that Justice Hegde ought to be the future president of India. I also congratulate the chairman of the Law Commission, Mr. Ramakant Khalap, and his honorable members, Mr. Cleopath, who are present here today. I would wholeheartedly say that the draft prepared by Law Commission, the 2011 draft, is a step forward. You cannot categorize things in black and white that 2011 draft is totally bad or only 2003 was good. It is a step forward. I congratulate him for taking up things like courageous steps, like that the prosecution wing should be there under the Lokpal or the investigation wing should be there under the Lokpal. These are perhaps suggestions the government of the day or any government of the day will not like. And to that extent, Mr. Khalap and his team definitely deserves to be congratulated. But there is a big but. Though it is a step forward, I am afraid that 2 steps have been taken back by diluting the provisions of the 2003 Act. Now this is what requires discussion, detailed discussions. There would be an assembly session. The Law Commission has suggested that in the 5th October assembly session, this would be taken up. This is only a 2 days assembly session. The second day is for private member bill. So only the first day remains. We do not know how much things can be discussed. We have 40 members here in Goa, members of the Legislative Assembly. The rest of them are members of the civil society. How many of the MLAs are present here today? I don't find a single MLA in the audience. Last time also, Honorable Khalap, as chairman of the Law Commission, was kind enough to organize in Law Commission a seminar on the Panchayat Raj Vidhayak, which was presented to us by Arvind Kejriwal. And Arvind Kejriwal made a presentation in the Law Commission. Not a single MLA remained present. What will happen on 5th October? The questions are, I will not read the objections which I have raised because which have been circulated. Only 2 therefrom, and I will also give you an inkling of what is there in the Law Department's mind about this Lokayukta bill. I am afraid, I'm pained to say I'm afraid, a big game is being played on. Because only 2 days thing, Law Department has raised 100 objections to this draft made by the Law Commission. Ultimately, the matter will go to select committee. This is going to be the last committee. The thing will lapse. Things will get dissolved. Nothing will get see the light of the day. Before I go to the mindset of the Law Department, I will only ask raise up only 2 things. One was, my question is also directed to Mr. Khalap. Mr. Khalap, you have defined a public functionary. Now, under that definition which is given by you, for whom the Act is applicable, are you as chairman of the Law Commission a public functionary? Are the members of the Law Commission public functionary? Is the NRI Commissioner a public functionary? Or would the Advocate General be a public functionary? I am not very clear whether the Act could be applicable to somebody like Advocate General with a constitutional status, but this is a doubt that if you have specified that the Chief Minister is there, MLAs are there, ministers are there, but are these categories included? Or would you say that because they earn more than a lakh of rupees, they come under that definition? Because you say that any body, the word body is not defined anywhere. That would be one question that I would like to know. Secondly, I'm picking up a leaf from the Kerala Lokayukta Act 1999 section and wonder whether some lessons could be learned from that Kerala Act for us. Section 2D of the Lokayukta Bill 2003 and 2011 Bill, this is our local Goa bills, they define who would be competent authority in case of Chief Minister, MLA, Secretary, Vice Chancellors, etc., etc. In this definition, there is conspicuous silence about who would be competent authority in relation to office bearer of political party at the state level, and in case of officer of the All India services employed in connection with affairs of the state. Such silence is capable of breeding uncertainty and confusion. Why not take into consideration the suitability or otherwise laid down in section 2D of the Kerala Lokayukta Act 1999? The same provides that competent authority in case of office bearer of a political party at a state level shall be the governor acting in his discretion, and that a minister concerned with competent authority in case of All India service officers. We may not ape the Karnataka definition as it is, but definitely it could give us a clue and remind us to provide for a competent authority in such contingencies. Now in section 2.4 of the Kerala, the political party is defined. This definition is absent in Goa bills. Now since it's a matter of common knowledge that political parties are the foundation of corruptions, I think this is a big loophole through which a lot of people could escape. I said that I will refer to the mindset of the law department on what are the various objections which are based on my unofficial discussions with many of them. What are the objections they are raising? That is one arm of the government, the right arm of the government is the law commission, the left arm is the law department. This is what perhaps the law department feels. They feel that I'm giving what are their objections to what is their mindset as I understand. They feel that the word secretary is defined in clause 2R of the bill 2011, but nowhere there is a distinct reference made to the term of the body of the bill 2011. Hence the word secretary defines deletion. This is one thing that law department has failed from the 2011 bill. Second, they say clause 8 of the said bill 2011 provides removal of the Lokayukta or Lokayukta. And it says that Lokayukta or Upalayukta shall not be removed from his office except by order of governor from recommendation made by committee consisting of chief minister, leader of opposition, chief justice of Bombay High Court on ground of proved misbehavior and incapacity. In this context, the law department is wanting to make a suggestion. I am not on the rightness or wrongness of it, but I'm just disclosing their mindset. They feel it would be appropriate that removal of Lokayukta or Upalokayukta members of the office except by an order of governor passed after the address by state legislative assembly supported by majority of total membership of the house and by majority of not less than 2/3 member of the legislative assembly, and voting has been conducted in the same session with state assembly on the ground of proved misbehavior or incapacity so as to give him a total immunity of his tenure to continue as Lokayukta or Upalokayukta. The department may see the feasibility to have clause 8 of the said bill on the lines of section 7 of the Goa Public Men's Inquiry Corruption Act. That is what they seem to be saying. Then they seem to be of the mindset that clause 10 subclause 5 defines the word any person which requires a deletion, as the Lokayukta is only empowering to investigate public functionaries. That is what they seem to be laboring under the impression. Similarly, clause 12 subclause 1b for the word any in the word aggrieved is required to be substituted being consequential in nature. Then clause 13 of the said bill 2011 deals with investigation for empowering the Lokayuktas or Upalayuktas to constitute an investigation wing for conducting investigation of any offence alleged to have been committed by public functionary punishable with offence of corruption. Provided that I will not read that section. Now they have given comments on that also. Then they say that therefore, though you have suggested those clauses, the law department says that this has to be deleted. From these are the because they say that the above clause 13 with the reasoning which they seem to be having under what I discussed with them. The above clause 13 starts with the word notwithstanding in legal terminology. It is called non-obstinate clause, which has overriding effect. Instead of giving powers of investigation to constitute an investigation wing for conducting investigation to the Lokayukta or Upalokayukta, it will be appropriate on part of the state government that anti-corruption wing, which is an independent department to be directed to conduct investigation on the order made by Lokayukta or Upalokayukta instead of Lokayukta or Upalokayukta constituting its own wing. Accordingly, said clause 13 of the bill 2011 deserves to be deleted. Then about the special courts also, they are finding that you all have not described what exactly would be that special court, when it would be appointed, etc., etc. All those uncertainties are there which they are pointing out. Specifically, they say chapter 9 clause 24 special courts provides for special courts. It is not clear which court will have jurisdiction to hear and decide cases arising out of Prevention of Corruption Act under the provisions of Act 2011. As such, clause 24 requires modification, spelling out etc., etc., whether it will be district judges, special judges. When we were talking of the eligibility for a high court judge and all, perhaps even some district judges would be eligible. Perhaps they are under the impression that you may not get enough retired high court judges from Goa. So whether district judges should be also included. Now there are n number of objections which are there. The difficulty is this, Chairman sir, that 2 days session, one option could be earlier law, whichever is there, good or bad. Lot of good things in it also. Some few objections are raised. Let us tackle those objections so that once those objections are removed, we will get that law and we will get some Lok Ayuktha. Second, we go on making these new things, and in conclusion, you will propose and the law department will dispose. There will be a conflict. The matter will go to the select committee. This is the last assembly of this government. Nothing will take place. Another round. We'll have to go on waiting for. So there are some good things in this. It can wait, it can come by. It is not necessary that we must make a new law now, right now. That earlier law we could have amended it because only those objections which central government has raised, let us satisfy them. Either we convince the central government that your this objection is wrong or your this objection is correct, or let us comply with it, but let us get some law in place so that we can start functioning something. Every time if you start giving a new law, doesn't matter, let us have this. First let us get that law settled. There might be difficulties with it, we will overcome them. But the moment you start with a new law, there is a 101% guarantee. Either they will not introduce it in the session, or they will only withdraw that old law. That much they will do, because that is a very nice thing that they want to do, withdrawal. That stumbling block for to be corrupt, people want to be corrupt, and since they don't want laws against it, so that law can remain as a stumbling block. So they will withdraw that law. But when it comes to giving that law, at the most they may introduce it, and then they will say that no, opposition made noise. Opposition will say that under the rules we require 7 days earlier notice, etc., etc. All those things will go on. At the most there may be a discussion or there may not be a discussion, but this law will not be passed in this assembly because even that law department is raising so many things, and this will go on. Let us be answerable to our conscience. It is high time. The nation is drowning. You have said the law commission has quoted in the very first thing, the very first words of I end with this line, I end with that quote of the law commission. You have said, you have started your report with, just as it is impossible not to taste for honey or poison that finds itself at the tip of the tongue, it is impossible for a government servant not to eat up at least a bit of king's revenue. My problem is not with bit of the state revenue, entire revenues are being eaten up. So in that corruption, in that honeymoon between the powers that be and corruption has to stop. Please let us amend that old law and get what we can do. Let us not go on just doing kite flying. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Why don't you come?
Sir, why don't you come here, sir?
Yeah, please come.
No, sir, we appreciate your presence. I mean, no MLA has come. At least you have come. Give him a big hand. At least you have dared to come.
Thank you very much. You referred whether the chairman of the law commission is NR included or not. Yes. I would request you to refer to clause O.
No, it is included. I am asking you clarity.
Yes. According to us, it is included. If anybody wants to further specify it, officer is mentioned there. What is it? Just read. Officer is someone.
Clause 2O, sir? No.
Yeah. Clause 2O. It takes. Means a person appointed to a civil or public service or post in connection with the affairs of the state of court.
So you would qualify under the post?
It comes under this. Anybody and everybody comes under this.
Fine.
This is one part. Number two, I don't want to go into what law commission, the law department is doing. But to allay your fears, what we had done was...
Sir, does Advocate General also come under that?
It must come under this. It will come under this.
Fine.
Article 215.
It is there. See, on 27th April, as far as that, we had written a letter to the government telling them that we have that Public Wells Corruption Act, okay, which is as good as or as bad as the bill which was passed by the last assembly, 2003, and that law is still in force. It was kept on hold after passing of the Lok Ayuktha bill. Now, Lok Ayuktha bill, certain infirmities have been pointed out, rightly or wrongly.
Sir, I just interrupt you. In this 2011 bill, you have said nothing about repealing of that bill. So you'll have two conflicting laws in force.
Yeah,
that will be the problem.
But
in 2003,
I'm answering your point. Answering your point that in case this cannot be passed, I had requested in 27th April of this year that please appoint a commission, 3-member commission under the Public Men's Corruption Investigation and Inquiries Act, and let that commission start functioning. He is also a Lokayukta, though not called a Lokayukta. And that we've already had one commission. So if at all such a thing comes, that this bill or our bill doesn't go through in this assembly, what government can do is appoint a commission, because that law is still a law under the Public Men's Corruption Act, and we'll have a Lokayukta. This is what I feel. Pending adoption of this bill or any other bill by the assembly.
Sir, did the government give a single reaction to your proposal?
Well, whatever reaction
They
is there,
never reacted anything.
no, they did react.
What was it?
The
Yes
Chief
or no?
Minister said
Yes or no?
that, the Chief Minister said that our bill would be put up in the next assembly. What else can I say?
May I speak?
I would like to react to Mr. Kalap's saying there is already a law which can be used for the purpose of fighting corruption. There is already a law which supposed to investigate corruption in higher judiciary and the Prime Minister. The 2010 draft act of the government included the Prime Minister in their bill. But when we suggested in General Lokpal bill that the Prime Minister should be included and so also the Superior Judiciary should be included, the big racket, no, how can you include the Prime Minister? What will happen if the Prime Minister has to resign? In the sense, what I'm trying to say is, like you have the Public Men's Inquiry Act, there is a law which already controls the corrupt activities of the Prime Minister, but who bends that cat? Because of that, we said in General Lokpal bill, include the Prime Minister. Even today, the Prime Minister as a public servant is under the investigating police under the Prevention of Corruption Act. So far as the judges are concerned, they are one step cleverer. 91 in Justice Veeraswamy's case, they kept themselves subject to the Chief Justice of India's empowering the investigation. They are all under that. Nobody is missing. Therefore, I think your Public Men's Inquiries Act will, even though there is in existence, will never be used.
So they have rescinded the commission under it actually. They issued a notice. May I speak, sir? I had last time when you had come, the same question was raised by Mr. Kalap, our chairman of Law Commission, and I said once the commission is appointed, this Lokayukta bill will not go forward, because we know our politicians here, like Mr. Satish Sanak raised about why the MLAs are not here. Now they always feel that they are the rulers and we are their subordinates.
Until the next election.
Yeah, until the next election. Yes, sir. They should have been here. We have public programs. We put public invitation like Madam has put also international center. So many people have come. Now they feel that we should send special invitations to them. Why? We are the voters. We are the citizens. They should be with us. And I appreciate that Mr. Kalap and Law Commission too, member also left is here. They should voluntarily come. But that sincerity is not there, and that's why we are feeling what we are talking today. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Yes. 1 minute, just a minute. There's somebody else who raised his
To
hand.
what extent, if there is any problem, we go to the judiciary. To what extent, your lawyer comes under the purview of this Goa Lokayukta appeal?
Which lawyer?
Your own lawyer. We are having problems with lawyers here. Many of the
The
lawyers.
lawyer may have problem with you also. Therefore, that is not the question. See, this is meant only for public servant. Lawyers are not public servant unless they are government leaders.
I mean to say, they are officers of the court. If they are under the
There's
office
a lot of
the court,
difference between an officer of the court and a public servant. They are not paid by the government. They are not in the payroll of the government. They are not public servants under Section 21 of the Indian Penal
What
Code.
about notaries or anything?
Nobody, none of them come under that. Let us not expand the whole thing to include 121 crores of Indians. Then it will never work. This is a law meant only for public servants, vis-a-vis the people who are dealing with the public servant. So far as the rest of India is concerned, the Indian Penal Code is there. If your lawyer has cheated you, file a 420 case against the lawyer. I'm not saying it's not happening, it's happening in a big way, that's what I hear about it. You know?
Yeah, it's in a big way, very big
Yeah,
way.
but then can't help it. Law can't include everybody.
Shall I?
Your Excellency, I want.
Just one thing. I would like to clarify one thing.
Yes.
I'm not a forerunner for the presidentship, don't call me Excellency. And I find fault with the society. The whole problem with the society is the moment there is somebody doing something and all, you carry him on the shoulder. That is what happened with these public servants. Then they try to sit on your head. That's when you feel the weight. We should get all these things out. Just call me Santoshi.
Yeah, now I want to bring to your kind notice that in 70s, we had a law in all the